Hi, I'm Tony Valen. Welcome.
Healing from within.
Hello and welcome to Healing from Within. I'm your host, Tony Valen. On this show, we talk about metaphysics, about the universe and how we're connected, and how we are all connected and how we're all one. That's the main focal point of my message here. And through this connection, how we help each other, how we find answers in healing. And every guest that I invite, in some way or the other, have a gift and have messages to give to everyone. So hopefully we can bring this world to a better place through this connection. On today's show, we're talking to Reverend, is that correct, Reverend?
I go by Father Liam
Gotcha.
Jarrett,
You,
and you can just call me Liam.
okay,
I'm I've taken on the priesthood to let everybody know that they too are a priest, a priestess, a minister of the light, if you will.
awesome. Okay, well, we are with Father Liam Jarrett today. He's an astrologer and he's going to be giving us the predictions for 2022. So, for the most part, I'm going to let him do all the talking because he has a lot of wonderful information to give out. And I may interject with a couple of questions, but for the most part, I'm going to try to stay out of it. So, Father Liam, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Tony. It's really a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak with you and your audience. And I'm going to start off by doing a little bit, almost you might call it channeling of messages. I'll ask for the help from the spiritual realm to bring in the message that needs to be brought in. I will then go to the astrological chart of the moment. We happen to be celebrating the winter solstice, or ob- observing the winter solstice today. So this is also a very important astrological time. And
Absolutely. My understanding of it is that today is like the shortest day and the longest night.
and the study of light is a big part of what astrology is. Um, and so today we have the seemingly victory of darkness over light because it is the longest night of the year. And the sun, if you're looking out to the east where the sun rises, you will see it traveling to the south, and then it stops on the winter solstice, seemingly dead for 2 days. And then on the third day, the sun of God rises and it ascends towards the north to the summer solstice, the Tropic of Cancer. The first day of Cancer season is the summer solstice. The first day of Capricorn season, the Tropic of Capricorn down in the south, is the winter solstice. It's the opposite if you're in the southern hemisphere, for those of you in Australia or other places. So it is really a rebirth opportunity. It is a time for preparing for the coldness of winter. It is the theme of Jesus in the woodshed with Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph, etymologically, Joseph is referring to Set or Seth, which is Saturn in Egyptian mythology, which is the adversary to the sun. Because in the sun is at home in Leo. The opposite of Leo is Aquarius, where Saturn is at home. Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius, the first and middle months of winter season. And it finishes up with Pisces. These are going to be very important themes for this year. The Capricorn season that we're entering into has been looked to for from astrologers for a long time because of the conflict, the tension between the authority figures, those in power, and the people. There's Uranus in Taurus, making a final square to Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius is the system overlords of society. It's a good example of this is those who censor on the internet, who says what is fact and what is false, or you get banned, and the taking away of freedom of speech would be a Saturn, the restrictor, in Aquarius. The internet is an Aquarian example, an archetypal theme, and it's going to make this final, what's called a square, a 45-degree angle. 4, 5 together is a 9. When we add the 4 and the 5, 9 is the number of Mars, and a square is the energy of Mars. It's the destroyer, the destructor, the warrior. So we're having these two energies play out with Uranus in Taurus, where it would rather be in the opposite sign of Scorpio, which is a home of it, an exaltation. Uranus is the revolutionary, seeking independence and freedom in a fixed sign of Earth, who would rather relax and be still and enjoy its food. So already we have this revolutionary spirit in Earth that is coming into conflict with the authorities. A theme we have right now, as we get ready for this new year, is Venus in conjunction with Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto is the dark cabal, if you will, the very few, the very powerful, who are in charge of things behind the scenes. Pluto and the underworld, Hades. Now, with Venus there, Venus is our money, what we value, how we receive, how we relate to others. Venus is beautiful. Love. And when she's in conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn, this could be really a grab from those dark Kabbalist elite who practice astrology. When you learn astrology, you very much see that this sacred, beautiful knowledge has been held from the masses and kept to just a few, their secret societies and their meetings behind the scenes. And they've been using the knowledge of these energies to keep us suppressed. It's very a pyramid type system that they have with a few at the top, and they want to be in control over everybody. The all-seeing eye, big brother watching over everybody and controlling all our moves. And that is going to be challenged by the people. We have lots of with these mandates, and I'm going to be as objective as I can, and I try to do that as an astrologer. I don't have any political allegiance to any party, and I'm just trying to read this as objectively as I can. And it is going to be more restrictions put into place, and there's going to be a snapping point, a breaking point where people are going to be fed up. We have a very important astrological point in the sky called our nodes, the lunar nodes. It's where our eclipses happen. And the nodes were in the north node is kind of our karmic arrow. And that was pointed towards Gemini for this past 18 months is how long the nodes stay in a sign for. The south node is in the opposite sign of Gemini, was in Sagittarius. The south node, discrete, it washes away, it rids, and then the north node is eating up. So while the north node was in Gemini, we're eating up a lot of information. We're taking in a lot of news, trying to discern what is real, what is false. Fake news was a theme that really, a term that came into prominence very much as we entered the north node into Gemini. Now with the south node, the tail of the dragon, called Ketu in Vedic Indian astrology, as opposed to Rahu, the head, Ketu, the tail of the dragon, was getting rid of Sagittarian things, faith systems, belief systems. So lots of us were questioning our belief in our faith in certain systems. This could be in our laws and in our religious institutions and our governments even, and just truth. What is truth? And having that broken down.
Right.
Now we're moving into the North Node, moving into Taurus, is going to put more focus and energy on this Uranian rebellious spirit in Earth. This could be very much a sign of the fallout of our economic troubles. This could be, not to alarm anybody, but a real crash in our economy, the stock markets. This could be, it's like an earthquake type energy.
Yeah.
And so I would, it's really a time to look at what's essential, what is necessary, structuring ourselves so that we are perhaps more frugal, even self-sustainable in some ways, hoping for the best, but also preparing for perhaps the worst. It's almost as if the internet really exposed a lot of the darkness behind the scene. This is the South Node going to Scorpio, the opposite of Taurus. So the South Node could be getting rid of and exposing these dark social engineers and programmers, and lifting the curtain and seeing this small, feeble person behind it putting on this whole illusion. It's really a time to step into our own authority and being able to govern and master ourselves so that we're not looking for others to do it. This is secrets from behind the scenes, corruption being exposed, and the tail of the dragon whipping it down and knocking it down. And we want to be able to be strong in our individuality and strong in community so that we aren't reliant upon the hand of the government to come and bail us out. And these are some of the themes that we have. It's really with Venus in conjunct Pluto. That's this. There's a theme of finding riches in the deep, going deep analytically, psychologically. Psychoanalytical activity is a Plutonic practice, and going deep into the dark and the darkest day of the year is a great time to go into the depths of our psyche and see where there's healing that can happen, places where we weren't felt appreciated or loved, and to give ourselves that love that we didn't have. Now, numerologically, we're going into a year of 6. 2022 equals 6 numerologically when we add the 2's up. 6 is a number of Venus, which the song comes to mind. It was like a club song. It's like, we found love in a hopeless place. We found love in a hopeless place. For those of you light workers out there who have been feeling alone and sad, because when we ask for illumination, often those dark things, the shadow sides of us, are exposed and light is brought to that and in the world around us as well. And that could be daunting, overwhelming, could lead to a sense of hopelessness and an attitude of melancholy. But as light workers, we're called often to be the light in that dark, which is why light workers often find themselves having to go through dark times and perhaps even a dark night of the soul type energy. That is fading away, and a new earth is Uranus in Taurus. A new earth is being born. And for those of you attracted to this channel and teachings such as these, you are a very sensitive, beautiful, discerning, questioning, soul that is really called upon to be hopeful and to be a reason for others to have hope as you carry on courageously shining your light, no matter how much people might make fun of you, not accept you, call you names, call you crazy. We have to be confident in expressing our our most authentic self, and to trust in that, and to have faith in that, and belief in ourselves. When we have these systems that we find that we can't trust or believe in anymore, we take that belief and we put it into ourselves. Intuition is going to be a theme of this year, as we have Jupiter coming out of out of Aquarius, where it was in the same sign as Saturn. Saturn restricts, so it doesn't give Jupiter, the great beneficent planet. It's like Santa Claus. It's not letting Santa Claus give out the gifts.
Right.
As Jupiter moves into Pisces, which will happen in about a month, it'll be in its home sign, and it'll give expansiveness to spirituality, to intuitive actions, to psychicness, to giving us the ability to dream a greater future. And then the next year, as it steps into Aries, to courageously bring it into place. Jupiter spends a year in each sign. Jupiter, Zeus, Jesus, and his 12 disciples, his 12 apostles, the 12 posts in the sky. So there's some beautiful things about Jupiter moving into Pisces. It's very much the Christ consciousness being fully embodied, and compassion, things as concern and care, even creativity being highlighted. All those things that have been very much suppressed throughout the Piscean age, the last 2,000 or so years. We are on the end of the age of Pisces, transitioning into the age of Aquarius. Before a planet leaves a sign, it reaches the 28th, 29th degrees. These are called anaretic degrees. And what the planet will do, it'll give a outburst of the traits of that sign in relationship to the planet. When we talk about the precession of the equinoxes, the planet in focus is Earth. So there's going to be a real influx of the great things about Pisces, about this unconditional love, this feeling of oneness with God and with all, a surrendering of our ego, and an acceptance of mercy, and an outpouring of grace is what we will experience as we leave Pisces. Now, there's another side to that, which is Neptune in Pisces, which is Neptune's home is Pisces. It's in the 20th degree. It's going to also, it could expand illusion and delusion. We're coming out of a year of 5, which is Mercury. Mercury could be the trickster, and it could be deceptive and a lie. And then with Jupiter and Pisces, lots of people say Pisces is the age of deception, the Kali Yuga in Vedic astrology, which is where we're the furthest away from God. And then we step out of that into the golden age of Aquarius. Now, for some, they're trying to take that as the messianic age, where they will rule as kings over the world, and those who aren't of a certain people are to get erased off the face of the earth or put into slavery, really. So we have a chance, an opportunity for those souls who incarnated in this very special time to be courageous of soul, to stand up for the worth of human dignity and togetherness against oppression and slavery. The Piscean Virgo axis is the axis of servitude, of service. Virgo is the opposite of Pisces. Behold, that I am the handmaid of the Lord. Let it be done according to thy will. Well, that service attitude, which hopefully we're all doing what we can to be in service to the world, not just ourselves,
Right.
but that could be turned into slavery. And I argue that perhaps the latter has been in play for the majority of the last 2,000 years. Now, again, I think with all that suppression, Pisces is a feminine, watery element. The exaltation of Venus is Pisces. With all that suppression to the divine feminine happening over the last 2,000 years, I think a special outpouring of grace from the goddess could be upon us, who teaches us to be nurturing to others and ourselves. And ultimately, creativity comes out of the female element. That's why if you're just all left brain and you're not right brain in touch with your feminine side, then all you could do is copy somebody else. You don't come up with anything original. Ideally, what we want to do is balance the masculine and the feminine together. When we hurt the divine feminine, we simultaneously hurt the divine masculine. And then we don't have that courage to stand up and protect ourselves. We've been cast into this web of fear of a disease, an illness, which is just bringing us in to a lower base level of existence where we're not operating in our highest heart center place. And so we really need to fight against fear, take proper precautions and safety, and yes, all that. But there has been an attack on consciousness development and awakening. This is why I believe they're really putting a lockdown on the internet. These overlords, I don't think we're expecting for the internet to happen. And for all the secret, sacred knowledge to be exposed. Now, there's something about not casting pearls to swine, but when we share this sacred information, some people just won't get it, and they'll just turn their eyes to the other and just keep on watching sports ball or whatnot. That's them in their spiritual journey where they're supposed to be. But
Right.
for those of us who are open to this and who see the validity and the good that it could do, we're really called to learn as much as we can, and we just learn it by observing nature, really, and going in. You don't have to read all these books, and then sharing it in our own unique ways that only you could do, and you will be given exactly enough time to do what you came here to do. There's no reason to be frantic and running around wild, and you will have enough time to do what you came here to do. I truly believe that. Tony, why don't you come in for a second? I'm losing my voice.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, so I've been listening to you, and we were talking about they. So I did have a quick question for you because what I'm trying to do is have people like the ones you just mentioned, the people that turn their head and watch TV or the ballpark or call us, like, oh, they're crazy. I want them to understand. So the only way we can really get them to understand is to, for lack of a better word, and I mean nothing by this, but we need to dumb it down to where they can understand, and the bare minimum, spoon feed them everything. So when you talk about domination and taking over, what specifically do you feel that type of action is coming from? Is it from what part of our society do you think is a dominant force that's causing that?
Without getting your channel banned and censored,
Really?
I really want to be careful, and I'm calling out any certain groups, but there's those who know this occult. Occulted means hidden behind, in the occulted from the eyes, the oculus, and it's been hidden and used against us. Dark psychology almost, and it's being pushed upon us. Pluto is in scorpionic energy in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is the top of the mountain goat, the authority position. It's a manipulation, a psychological dark magic workings from the top of the pyramid because they want to stay on the top. With this whole pandemic, what we've seen is the biggest transfer of wealth. The billionaires have become trillionaires. Whenever I want to find out who is behind a certain happenstance, I look to who benefits from it. Often, in finding out who benefits from something, we find out the culprit behind it. We've
Right.
spent no resources in figuring out where this thing came from. The first story was that it came from a wet food market in the Wuhan area, which turned out to be false. And the people who were saying, oh, that this was created in a laboratory, they were called conspiracy theorists, banned from the internet. Now, the mainstream narrative is that it was, in fact, created in the Wuhan lab.
Right.
And I think it was let out upon us intentionally. It's taking away those who are vulnerable. And when these rich people, these uber wealthy people who think that they are superhuman, it's similar to those who get this sacred knowledge. They're enlightened, and those who don't have the light are in the dark and are less human. And when you dehumanize somebody, it's easier for you to suppress them, wipe them out. What often happens, these uber Rockefeller types talk about world population and how that's what they need to work on. Bill Gates is quoted in saying that our biggest problem that our world is facing is world population, and that the way that we need to handle that is through vaccinations. I don't know how that even works together, but that's a common theme at these global World Economic Forums, these Bilderberger group meetings. They push this world population agenda, and they hide behind the mask of environmentalism. When the Rockefellers and the Guggenheims, and they've, through their factories, there's rivers in Ohio that you can't even light a match near. It'll go up in flames. It's so filled with toxins and stuff. For them to pretend like they want to save the planet because of world population, it's a total mask that they hide behind, is being green. The only green they care about is more money, and they don't want any competition. We're turning into a technocratic, plutocratic, and they're using health scares to suppress truth, knowledge, gatherings. If people are separate and they're not able to come together, then it's easy to keep them from rising up against anybody. There are places such as Austria, Australia, London, where masses are gathering and protesting. In American media, we see none of that because they don't want us to get any ideas. And it's so easy for us to say, oh, well, that's Australia. That'll never happen here, when it's knocking on the door here. Sorry, that was a little bit depressing.
No, that's okay. Yeah, and I was going to say, let's get back to astrology, and
I mean, that is all astrological.
well, I'm aware, but like I said, let's spoon feed people and not overwhelm them.
Well, and the hope that is coming is really Jupiter moving into Pisces. They they can turn up the illusion and the deception more, but I see us not falling into that deception. I see people really waking up, and I see love being victorious.
Okay.
Venus is where the North Node is pointing, is going to go into Taurus, where Venus's home is. And Venus is a very prominent character in the chart for the new year, and she is really, and especially with the number 6 being the numerological value of this year, it's really us coming together in love. And love being the overarching theme of the year. I really see people who have been lonely and discouraged about finding love. I see that coming to an end. And for the first part of this year, I would think a good practice is to envision, if you're single, who you want to your ideal mate. And then feel how that would feel. Imagine how that would feel to have this person to really compliment you well. Feel into that and really feel it, feel into it. And our feelings, the water element, is a very powerful element. You will see the matrix configure in such ways to fulfill that feeling. Almost like prepping for that person to come into your life.
Right.
Getting your life together so that you're not needy. Because then when somebody's needy and desperate, that just puts off an odor that is unattractive. When we have an attitude of neediness, we'll just be given more things to be needy. It's very much the law of attraction thing, which is, they say it's a new age thing. There's nothing new about the law of attraction. That's a very hermetic principle that goes back to Egypt, perhaps Atlantis.
Right.
And so I think it's for the first quarter of this year, maybe not even that long, to really be like Saint Joseph in the shed and with Jesus, and architecting and planning and structuring your life, your emotional, psychological life, so that when this person and you cross paths, that it is harmonious and you are receptive to entering, for them to enter into your lives and for you to enter into theirs, so that they're not there to fill an emptiness. No one can do that. You have to fill that emptiness yourself, and then somebody will come and complement that.
Yeah, and you just mentioned the law of attraction, but I think I've looked into that, and one of my talks, of which I will be putting on this channel, is about another law that's, in my opinion, I think it's a little more important than the law of attraction, and that's the law of vibration. You want to make sure you're in the right vibration before you bring that attraction in, because, for lack of a better word, you are what you think, you are what you say, you are what you feel, and all that turns into your life. And if you're not in the right vibration and you go into a law of attraction, you're going to attract more of what you don't want instead of what you do want. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So
Yeah, they say everything is energy, vibration, and frequency.
absolutely.
And so where we frequently going to in our thoughts, and then that's where our frequency is going to be on. I,
Absolutely.
I could reflect back on my life and see relationships that I attracted that really hurt a lot because I was not vibrating in a good place. And so,
Right.
I like to think that I've learned from that, and hopefully healed from it. And I look forward to what the future might bring.
Right, exactly. And grateful for what you've learned, because that's what we're here to do. And when you live in a world of gratitude, that's another way of raising your vibration, so to speak. And the thing about it is that just knowing who you are and staying in a positive place, and I'm not saying it faking it, I'm saying it really feel it. I knock on wood. I feel blessed because I pretty much stay at peace, and I live in gratitude every day, and my vibration, I feel, is in the right place, and I seem to be going where I want to go, and everything I want is not a want, it's already possible, it's already here. And so anyway, I'm hoping that other people will learn that we are, like I always say, we are connected, and through this connection, you go into a vibration. We live in an ocean of motion. Everything vibrates, so you just have to be very mindful of everything
Yeah,
around you.
and I think they really push upon us things to keep us in a low vibration, just through movies. Um, our emotions are kind of the water element, and
Hmm.
a very big part about vibration. And we could all these movies, lots of the emotionally traumatizing. This whole COVID experience has been emotionally traumatizing.
Right.
The 9/11 event was a mass emotional traumatization. And how do we heal? Often talking to others, being there, having a space for others to come and talk to you and be there to listen. Um, One thing, lots of light workers, those on the spiritual, soulful path, sometimes they might be alone and not in a relationship. And for those who are there, it does allow a certain amount of freedom and and the ability to just pick up and go at a, one at the notice and to be there to minister to others and to and, t- and to even be active socially because you don't have that responsibility of a family or a relationship to tend to, which can be time consuming. So for those of some of us, I know that we all want to be with somebody, but sometimes we have a calling, a vocation is what we call it they call it in the Catholic Church, a calling for the life of a bachelor or a bachelorette. You be dedicated to your mission, and what I recommend for those, especially men, is to have the idea of the divine feminine as the goddess. The goddess, the idea of a goddess, and to have that relationship with the goddess, who is very much symbolized by Earth, Mother Earth, and the water element. Um, it gives us nurturing, nourishes us, and um, and we have some beautiful examples from ancient Egypt in Isis and her twin sister Nephthys, who are the stars Sirius and Procyon in the constellation
Mm.
of the mother of Cancer. We also have Athena, the warrior princess. We have some beautiful Freya in Norse mythology and in Celtic mythology. We have some Brigid, which is a beautiful goddess of the harvest. Rhea, Ceres. We have beautiful examples of the goddess, which has really been suppressed over the past 2,000 years. Um, Nephthys was the sacred prostitute of the temple who taught sacred sexuality, sexualness, where we could raise our vibration energy through the channeling of this life force, vril energy in Norse, chi in the East. This the Holy Spirit is called Shekinah, is the divine goddess in Judaism. Well, instead, that got turned into Mary Magdalene in the Catholic Church, where she's a prostitute. Is all. We don't get taught about the beautiful sacredness of sexualness, and instead, she's just a prostitute who had to be exorcised of seven demons. And so, I think as we go towards the latter end of the Pisces age, that this knowledge can come into play. Kundalini yoga has gained popularity. There's many practices, but a great yogi said that if you want to raise your Kundalini, the best way to do it is through charity. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, interesting. So to set out the key points for 2022, what would you say are the key points as we wrap up?
Let your love light shine in creating this new earth. And I want to pick an oracle card and go to the divine oracle that she might open up the veil and give us a message, some guidance as we go into the year 2022. Child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. All the things that you need to know are within. Go in for the answers and don't ever feel alone. You are a child of the cosmos, my loves. Tony, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Our thanks to Father Liam for coming in and giving us, a few futuristic looks at 2022. And even though I know the messages may sound a little scary and a Debbie Downer, it's actually good news, and we just have to be grateful for what we've been through and for what we're about to come upon and look at it as gifts and lessons. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. This show will be available on TonyValenRadio.com. And as we switch different systems, I'm not quite sure exactly where we're going to be, but we're definitely on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter at TVHFW, Healing From Within with Tony Valen, and also on Spotify for sure. Did you want to say something, Lee?
I did. You could find I do teachings and astrological reports at YouTube channel, theaquarian.tv. My website's theaquarian.tv. I also do natal chart readings and tarot readings and stuff like that. Thank you so much, Tony.
Great. Thank you so much. And what about a phone number in case someone wants to call you? Do you give out a phone number, or do they just go through your website?
Go to my website, and my email is liam, Liam, at theaquarian.tv.
Great. Thank you so much. And if you have any show comments or ideas for shows, you can email me directly, Tony at TonyValenRadio.com. Thank you so much, and love and light from all of us here at Healing From Within.